On a bleak, rainy day, Amane spots Mahiru, sitting alone on a park swing, drenched and without an umbrella. Time freezes for a moment as Amane debates within himself. In a bold move, he offers her his umbrella, the first words he's ever spoken to her. Mahiru hesitates, saying it's not necessary, but Amane insists. Before she can even say thank you, Amane dashes off. The next day at school, Amane's got a cold. No surprise there. His friend Itsuki notices and nudges for an explanation. Amane mentions the umbrella giveaway, but keeps the who a secret. Itsuki is stunned. Amane being kind? That's news. Meanwhile, in the hall, Mahiru is surrounded by classmates, angelic as ever. Every boy in class wants to date her, except for Amane, or so he says. Itsuki jokes that life would be easier with a girlfriend, but Amane promptly shuts down the idea. Post-school, Amane went back to his apartment floor and, surprise, Mahiru is there, waiting at his doorstep. She's got his umbrella, but Amane, looking like he's about to faint, says to keep it. Mahiru insists on taking care of him, but upon seeing the chaotic state of Amane's apartment, she dashes off to gear up for some serious cleaning. Amane uses the chance to change into new clothes. Waking up, Amane finds Mahiru by his bedside, announcing that she made him rice porridge. Before he starts eating, Mahiru makes it clear that she won't spoon-feed him. Amane says it's the best porridge he's ever had. Mahiru, ever so humble, says anyone could have made it. With the bowl empty, Amane gets curious. Why was she on that swing in the rain? Did she fight with her boyfriend? Mahiru denies having one, but admits she was cooling her head. She apologizes for his cold, and Amane says he enjoyed spending time with her, but knows they'll be back to being strangers tomorrow. The day resumes its usual monotony, Amane and Mahiru back to their separate orbits. That evening, Amane enjoys a jelly energy package on his balcony. Mahiru spots this from her own balcony and decides to prepare some leftovers for him. The next day, Amane returns the empty box to Mahiru. Unfazed, she insists on giving him another dinner box, setting the stage for a new, healthy routine. At school, Amane probes Itsuki. "Do I look unhealthy to you?" Itsuki jests, saying Amane's always look unhealthy. However, Itsuki points out that recently, Amane has a bit more color. After school, fate throws Amane and Mahiru into the same supermarket. After some small talk, Amane offers to carry Mahiru's groceries. The following day, Mahiru arrives at Amane's door. As Amane stumbles to let her in, almost tripping over a mop, she doesn't hesitate to jump into cleaning mode. During the cleanup, Mahiru takes her own spill, landing right in Amane's lap. Awkward? Absolutely, but they shake it off and carry on. At the end of the cleaning spree, Amane suggests pizza, and you won't believe it. Mahiru's never had delivery pizza. Living with a cook, she's never had to. While savoring the cheesy goodness, they dive into a heart-to-heart. Amane asks Mahiru if she ever tires of being everyone's angel at school. Her answer? She's been doing it since she was a kid, so it's second nature. Amane's glad she has some space to breathe, even if it's while cleaning his apartment. Before she leaves, Amane confronts her. "Why the dinner boxes?" Mahiru's answers, "It's just for her self-satisfaction, no special reason." And just like that, they fall into a relationship unlike any other. Around dusk, Amane finds Mahiru at the park, her face clouded over. Turns out she tried to play hero to a cat stranded up a tree. Seeing she's hurt, Amane vanishes briefly, only to return with medical supplies. Before treating her sprained ankle, he lends her his long sweater pants to cover up. Once that's sorted, he drapes his own sweater over her to hide her identity while he piggybacks her home. The next day at school, Itsuki notes something's off. Amane in gym shorts? Amane brushes it off. Just then, they spot Yuta, aka the school prince, awash in feminine admiration. As Amane and Itsuki comment on the adoration, Mahiru's radiant smile catches their eyes. Nearby boys get starry-eyed, thinking the smile was for them. Oh, if only they knew. That evening, Mahiru brings back Amane's sweater and another meal box. They have a conversation about the superficial nature of school popularity. Mahiru makes it clear she doesn't care for Yuta, contrary to what others might think. Then, the chat shifts gears to dinner. Amane admits he's always wanted to try freshly made karaage. Mahiru offers to cook for him in his apartment, but lays down the ground rule that Amane must split the food bills half, and he is not allowed to make any advances toward her. Amane accepts the offer because he's guilty eating free meals from her. The following day, the delicious aroma of home-cooked karaage fills Amane's apartment. Mahiru is thrilled to see Amane savor every bite. Post-feast, they share kitchen duties. Amane washes, Mahiru dries. Then, Mahiru drops the bombshell. She offers to cook for him regularly. Amane agrees. Though feels a bit guilty, considering he's not her romantic interest, Mahiru insists she's doing it to ensure he eats healthier. At school, Itsuki starts prodding Amane about the girlfriend situation. Amane firmly states he's not interested. Just then, Itsuki's girlfriend Chitose joins the conversation, and she's all bubbly about the idea of Amane dating someone so she can make a new friend. Amane finds the idea even less appealing, given how enthusiastic and clingy Chitose tends to be. After school, Amane washes dishes in his apartment as Mahiru grades a math test she'd taken. Amane is floored to see she scored perfectly. Mahiru humbly says it's something she needs to maintain, though she doesn't elaborate. Just as she leaves, she drops her student ID. Amane picks it up and realizes her birthday is just around the corner. Amane subtly asks Mahiru what she'd like for a gift while she's making dinner. Her answer, a sharpening stone, leaves him dumbfounded. Like, who asks for a sharpening stone, right? Later, Amane seeks gift advice from Itsuki, who recommends hand cream as a safe option. Then, Chitose also chips in, suggesting candy, handkerchief, or a small bag. She finally settles on recommending a stuffed animal. Though uneasy about buying it alone, Amane convinces Chitose to come along in exchange for buying her a deluxe crepe. On Mahiru's birthday, she's engrossed in a book on Amane's couch. Amane nervously presents a gift bag. Mahiru reveals she's never celebrated her birthday before, as she doesn't like receiving gifts from people she's not close with. Amane then tells her to consider the gifts as tokens of gratitude. As she opens the bag, she finds the hand cream and a stuffed teddy bear. She adores the teddy bear and thanks Amane warmly. In that moment, Amane feels an almost overwhelming urge to pat her head, but stops himself. Out of the blue, Amane's mother, Shihoko, arrives at his apartment. Despite Amane's attempt to send her home, she insists on entering, reminding him she pays the rent. Prior to her entrance, Amane hides Mahiru in his room. But when Shihoko notices the suspicious cleanliness of the apartment and the dishes for two, she bulldozes past Amane into his room. And there she finds Mahiru, asleep next to his bed. Shihoko immediately assumes she's Amane's girlfriend. An awkward introduction ensues, and Mahiru explains her chef duties for Amane. Shihoko is grateful, leading Amane to admit that his mother can be stubborn like that. Shihoko finally gets the full lowdown on Amane and Mahiru's unique relationship. Convinced it was fate that brought them together, she shares some embarrassing details about Amane. Horrified, Amane insists his mother leaves. But before exiting, Shihoko exchanges contact info with Mahiru. Once Shihoko is gone, Amane apologizes for the intrusion and awkwardness. Mahiru brushes it off and even compliments Shihoko. Mahiru appreciates how Shihoko called her by her first name, something even her parents never did. Amane decides to follow suit, leading to a warm, intimate moment. They both agree to keep the first name basis a secret. As Mahiru starts to return Amane's spare key, he insists she keeps it, mentioning he trusts her. Mahiru humorously warns that she might magically clean his place, then happily accepts the key. It's results day at school. Amane places a respectable 21st but Mahiru steals the show, landing in the first position. Amane, feeling the need to celebrate, buys a strawberry shortcake and places it in his fridge. Mahiru discovers the cake, and they decide to have a slice. Cute moment alert. Mahiru feeds Amane a piece as if it's the most natural thing in the world. But when Amane returns the favor, Mahiru goes 50 shades of red. Amane, inspired by Mahiru, tries his hand at cooking and goes grocery shopping. Fate has him bump into Mahiru near the elevator. She spots the groceries and insists on supervising his culinary adventure. Under Mahiru's watchful eye, Amane's omelet turns out more like scrambled eggs. Mahiru, ever the chef, whips up a delicious omelet to show him how it's done and gives him a little pep talk for next time. With Christmas Eve around the corner, Chitose tries to rope Amane into hosting a pizza party. Amane declines, prompting Chitose to ask if he's spending the holiday with his girlfriend, the mysterious stuffed animal recipient. Amane clears up the misunderstanding, stating it's just his helpful neighbor. Chitose, never one to back down, finally persuades him to agree to the party, mocking his unenthusiastic acceptance. Amane playfully gives her a cheek squeeze, with Itsuki joining in on the fun. Amane later chats with Mahiru about her Christmas Eve plans, to which she reveals she has none. Hearing about Amane's party, Mahiru vows not to intrude and is fine being alone. Guilt strikes Amane, and he offers to spend Christmas with her, video games included. Mahiru happily agrees. The day arrives. Itsuki and Chitose are at Amane's apartment, pizzas in hand, fully enjoying Christmas Eve. When snow starts to fall, they rush to the balcony for a magical view. And here comes the mic drop moment. They see that Mahiru lives right next door. So, there they are, sitting around Amane's coffee table. Itsuki can't wrap his head around the fact that Amane isn't swooning over Mahiru. Wife in training, he calls her. Amane puts in a request for Itsuki and Chitose to keep their relationship on the down low, and the couple agrees. Chitose, not one to stay silent, gushes over how incredible Mahiru is. She's so excited that she actually tries to touch Mahiru's face, but Amane is quick on the draw. Personal space, Chitose. She apologizes, then pops the friend question to Mahiru, who graciously accepts. Names are formally exchanged, and the conversation veers into Mahiru's cooking prowess. Even Chitose admits she likes to cook, but doesn't hold a candle to Mahiru. Itsuki slides in a cheeky comment, telling Mahiru to keep him in the loop if Amane tries any funny business. After the gathering, Amane feels the need to apologize for the whirlwind that is Chitose and Itsuki. Mahiru, however, brushes it off. She's had a great time and found the friend hangout pretty fun. Before you know it, she's back with beef stew and promises of omeris for the next day's lunch. Amane's stomach is already doing a happy dance. While they're tackling the dishes, Amane can't help but ask, "How did you get so good at cooking?" Mahiru spills the beans. It's all thanks to a wise caretaker. Mahiru humbly states her cooking skills don't measure up to her mentors, but Amane swoops in with the feel-good moment, declaring her food is the best he's ever had. The day rolls around, and they move on to gaming, and Mahiru can't quite get the hang of her game. Amane, being the gentleman he is, steps in to assist, but he realizes he's getting a little too touchy and immediately backs off. He mumbles an apology, but Mahiru's like, "It's cool, no worries." But wait, now Mahiru's trying a racing game. She gets so into it, leaning this way and that with each in-game turn, that she actually tips over and falls right into Amane's lap. But Amane just goes for it. "You look really cute playing like that." Cue Mahiru's baka. After her racing game victory, Amane decides it's time for Christmas gifts. He hands Mahiru a key case, because he gave her a spare key to his place. She's touched. Then she talks about an old photo his mom sent, mentioning how she's curious about what he'd look like without his bangs covering his eyes. In a bold move, she brushes his hair back, cue mutual heart skipping. Then, Mahiru gifts Amane a thick black scarf, and when he compliments her smile, she's so flustered she wraps the scarf over his face. Their tender moment transitions to enjoying the wintry night view from the balcony. The next day, Mahiru's looking a bit off. Amane's concerned and insists on taking her temperature. Yup, it's a fever. Amane goes full caretaker mode, making her porridge and tucking her into bed. Mahiru tries to get him to stay, and Amane holds her hand until she drifts off to sleep. When Amane checks on Mahiru the next day, she admits she's still not feeling 100%, but is better than before. Amane decides the best medicine is company, so he stays with her, holding her hand until she falls asleep. Once she's out, Amane has a confession of his own. If this keeps up, she's going to be really bad for my heart. Man, could these two be any more adorable? I can't wait to see where this journey takes them. Until next time, stay tuned for more awesome recap.